You're now listening to the Palmetto Dugout Show, hosted by State Director Sammy Esposito, Associate Scouts Drew Stewart and Sean Smith, that discuss all things related to amateur baseball in South Carolina. Here are your hosts.
Welcome into episode 36 of the Palmetto Dugout Show. I'm Drew Stewart here with Sammy Esposito and Sean Smith. I was about to say Sean Smith. My mind's on it, but I got Austin Smith, same last names. What's going on, guys?
I don't know what's more already, concerning.
Huh? We gotta start the podcast off the right way with a little humor. So Sean's not here, but Austin is.
I don't know if it's more concerning that you forgot my name or that you just said Sean was already on your mind. So,
good point. Yeah, which it's early Sunday morning. We got Sean on the mind. What do we got going on?
I had a rough Friday, Saturday, so we'll just leave it at that. Mine's still not all there. But first thing, we got a lot of content to talk about in this one episode. But first big thing, some breaking news here throughout the country, and that is a recruiting rule change, which basically says colleges, Division I, are not allowed to have that contact with students before August of their junior year. So, Sammy, what does all this mean?
Yeah, I mean, so about a week and a half left before this rule goes into place. You know, There's always been a rule of some resemblance of a contact in place. You know, September 1 of their junior year, coaches were able to reach out and call, text, email, do everything regarding, recruiting stuff outside of, sending out some camp information. Well, now this new rule, there is no contact at all. So in the past, right, if college coach is out watching a player, called a freshman or sophomore, heck, an eighth grader, as we saw the other night, pitching, playing, they can always go through a third party. They can go through the high school coach. They can go through, a travel coach. They can reach out to us and ask it to kind of get people to connect. Well, now, once this rule goes into place, there is no communication at all until August 1 of their junior year, which, to me, I think it's, I think it's going to be very beneficial for everybody involved in this. The college coaches are only going to be able to work on, 2 classes instead of having to worry about 4 or 5 different classes. A 13, 14, 15-year-old kid is only going to have to be worrying about playing baseball and getting better and not have to worry about, making phone calls or worried if he's getting recruited or any of those things. So I think it's a big time rule. It's something that's been discussed for a long time. Softball has it. Lacrosse has it. I know there's some other sports that are out there that have already put this into place, and it's been going on for a little while. And I think there's, from some of the feedback that we've gotten, I think those other sports and these, student athletes are actually thoroughly enjoying this new rule put into place. So here on the 26th, it goes into place. And I think it's gonna really change the game. I do think it will take a little bit of time, because some of these schools out there, the bigger schools are so far out, they're not worrying about a junior in high school anymore. They're worrying about, freshman, sophomore, heck, eighth graders and recruiting them. So I think it'll take a little bit, but it's gonna, I do think it's best for all when it's in there. And I do think the college coaches are gonna, maybe they're always going to put added pressure on themselves, but I think their work-life balance will become a little bit better when they're not having to worry about, taking phone calls from a 15-year-old kid at a certain time. They can kind of slow that down a little bit for them.
And to think the future games couldn't get any bigger.
No doubt. I mean, because the future games, it's the end of that last week in July for us. And August 1, they're going to be able to, college coaches are going to be able to reach out and call and text and communicate and take calls. I mean, the amount of offers that are going to be flying on August 1, it's going to be nuts. So I think, the Futures game has been one of the greatest recruiting events, right, in the country. Now it makes it even more important. I mean, that's really that last week. These coaches are going to be able to see them before they decide on these offers. And whew, I mean, it's going to be. I mean, heck, last year there's over 350 coaches that are there. I mean, one, you can't get a better representation of college coaches in one area over a short period of time. But now it's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazier moving forward.
Yeah, and you would expect the talent at that event to get better than it already is, which is hard to do. So it was already the biggest uncompetitive event of the year, and it just continues to get better, especially with this rule change. And a lot of different things happening with the rule change. So maybe we'll get into that in some future podcasts with some events coming up. But hey, we're going to jump in now to prospects from the Diamond Invitational, from where we all three, PBR was there. We're covering that event for the first 2 days of that tournament. So we're just going to talk about 3 kids that kind of stood out to us. So I'll kind of start us off here. I'm probably going to get picked on for this, for talking about the Stags, from these 2 guys right here. But I'm going to start out with Gavin Edens, 2024 middle infielder at Berkeley High School. I don't think we got some video out on him hitting, but I think he made I think me and Sammy were both sitting there on Thursday afternoon, and he made 2 plays back to back that you don't see. One, a little slow hopper, came and got it on the short hop and threw a guy out. And then one was deep in the hole, I believe, right? Or no, it was a diving play. We didn't get the runner out, but it was
up the middle.
Up the middle.
Yeah, he was shading in the 6 hole.
Yeah.
Ranged really far to his left. Yeah.
Had a long way to go. But he's a typical Stag player. Really gritty, plays with a lot of heart. At the plate, he's going to be a balanced hitter, hitting line drives for singles, trying to run them into doubles. So he's a fun player to watch. We've seen him at events as well. And then I'm going to stay with the Stags here and go with Cole Greer.
Shocker.
Sammy's over here giving me the face. I feel like I talk about Cole Greer all the time. That's where you get one of those right there.
Cole, Drew Stewart, Greer coming in hot right here.
But, it's typical Cole Greer. He faced a really good Lexington lineup. I think he gave up 2-3 runs, 2 earned, I believe. But Lexington won the whole thing. But we was hoping he was going to get a 90 here, but he can't quite get there. Topped out at 89. He'll like that comment. Topped out at 89, but the off speed's gotten better since we've seen him. Big swing and miss stuff. He's going to pound his own. You watch him one time, like, okay, you got to watch him a little bit more to like him a lot. But he seems to get the job done every time he goes out. Believe maybe Berkeley's best arm moving forward. And then my next guy, he catches for Blythewood. I believe he had someone give him lessons. I think that kind of was detrimental to him in the future. And that is Macon Leopard at Blythewood High School. Tall, athletic frame. We he didn't play as much that first day we watched him, but that second day, you like what you see. He barreled 3 balls up in a nasty game. PBR still in the rain. But you like it a lot. Left-handed swing. That gets the job done, right? He's gonna run some balls into gaps, got some pop to take it out. So didn't play last year, but getting back into it this year, exciting to see how he progresses. Has a chance to put up some big numbers over there at Blythewood.
Cool. My turn. I got 4 guys that I'm going to pack into 3 because they're 2 of them we already talked about Thursday because I was only there. What day was that? I was there Wednesday, so we talked about it Thursday. First one obviously was Jackson Cole from Bowling Springs. One thing that I think that I didn't mention the next morning because I was kind of rushed was when I went back and updated the heat sheet, he was up to 89 that night, and that was actually I think the highest we had him up to then was 87 from the preseason tournament. So getting a little more juice in the tank here as we go forward. Not sure if he's touched 90 this year. We hadn't seen it, but maybe he has. I'm sure somebody might want to reach out and tell us. Somebody might have got it on a pocket radar. But he hit that 2-run homer too. So I think that as far as that day goes, he had a really big day. And then we had the young 8th grader from Dorman, Mr. Connor Wells, the 27 8th grader, left-handed pitcher over there for the Cavs. He had him up to 87. Talked about him Thursday morning. Very bright future for that young left-handed pitcher. Just kind of the way he came in, took over that game. Like I said, what woke everybody up over there. Probably has gotten a lot of phone calls. Well, I don't know. I guess they got a couple weeks. They better get them in. Actually, I don't know. I'm not going to speak on behalf of the NCAA rules. And then my last person, I'm going to combo two guys in together, and it's going to be a couple arms over there from Lexington. Owen Watts started that game for Lexington. He went 4 innings, had a pretty good outing against Hannah. And then I think we had him up to 87, I believe, is what Mr. Watts was up to. He's 25, right-handed pitcher, sophomore. So he's got a couple more years over there learning from one of the best in the business with the Wildcats, Mr. Coach Lever. And then the second one I got is I guess they're using he didn't tell me he was his closer, but it kind of appears that he's the closer. Got a couple saves last week. Cam Sutton, sidearm, big kid, junior, right-handed pitcher, throws sidearm. He got the save, I guess, yeah, we're gonna call it a save, against Hannah on Wednesday, and then I believe he also got another one against Oceanside in the big win Lexington had over Oceanside on, I guess that was Friday. So a couple saves for the big man. Coach Lever and Coach Hucks both talked about him. I saw Coach Hucks talking about him after the game in one of his interviews, and then Coach Lever talked about him before the game. So very high on that kid, junior, right-handed pitcher. Heard he's a pretty good football player too, but doesn't really have anything to do with us, but maybe got a bright future on both sides. So that's my 4, 3, 3.5, however you want to call it. And I'm done.
High level stuff right there. So I'm gonna swing over to my 3. The first guy I'll talk about, Jackson Burton. Second time I've gotten a chance to watch him pitch this spring. We got a chance to watch him showcase down to the preseason All-State down in the Shipyard. And Jackson kind of gets better every time out. When we saw him down there at the showcase, it kind of was, very interesting. 84, 86. You don't know what, it's a bullpen setting. The arm work, got a good breaking ball, good changeup. Everything was good. And then I got a chance to watch him, a few weeks back against River Bluff, and the stuff was there. He's up to 88 that day. I saw him, and it was a little, a little bit more erratic, a lot of changeups, breaking balls, and kind of didn't, wasn't the outing he was hoping for. But this last time in the up there at Blythewood, he was lights out, facing the Stags, facing Drew's favorite team, against a tough lineup, the reigning 5A state champions. Jackson goes out and goes 6 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, not earned, 0 walks, and 7 punch outs. The fastball in the day was up to 87, mainly 84, 86, but shows a lot of ride, especially into those right-handed arms, as it shows a feel for a plus changeup and a really good breaking ball, all 3 pitches have incredible spin. And, Jackson's one of those guys for me that every time he gets more innings under his belt, he keeps getting better and better. So, I think, for Lexington's sake, they're developing another arm with, like Austin said, the great pitching coach over there, developing that guy, getting him better and getting him more innings that he's going to be able to take off for the Wildcats and help them, especially as we wind down here in the back end of the year, rolling into the playoffs. Second guy I'll talk about, Landon Penfield. Landon for us over there at Blythewood, he was a former future gamer for us. Usually you're talking about him as a bat. I'm going to talk about him on the mound. Landon's there. Obviously he's going to College of Charleston commit, going there to hit, and hit a lot for the Cougs down there. But day one out there. He goes out and goes on the mound. He's facing a tough Chapin team that's been hot of late, scoring a bunch of runs. And he goes out and goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, which was unearned, 0 walks, and 5 punch outs. It's 84, 85. has a good feel for a changeup, has a good feel for a breaking ball, but it was more so the competitiveness that he showed out there that kind of got going and kind of more so for me, kind of got the juices going because I thought it was fun watching him pitch. You know, at one point in time, I'll keep the language PG a little bit, but a big punch out. I think it was in the 5th inning, and he says, "This is my house," with a few other added adjectives in there. But it was a lot of fun, right? You watch those juices come out and make a big punch out and kind of get that enthusiasm going in there. So Landon was fun to watch pitch. I know we've always enjoyed watching him hit, but that was a good one on the day. Last guy, Palmer Hornet. Palmer for Dorman, freshman. You know, this is heck. I know this was my second or third time watching him play. I know Austin's seen him play before. Palmer, shortstop, right-handed pitcher, kind of a do-it-all for Dorman. You know, freshman. You know, a little bit on the smaller side, but he's a freshman, so going to be able to grow. But he's one of those guys that plays a really, really good defensive shortstop. You know, left-handed hitter, can really hit, swing the bat, hits in the top of the lineup. You know, especially when you got a freshman that pitches, that hits, and he's up at the top of the lineup. Obviously, he's got some kind of ability in there. But also another guy that got it, that's another one of their better arms. And we saw a tight game me and Drew did against Chapin, and he threw, what was it, the last 2 full innings and then the 2 extra innings they did. So he winds up going 3 or 4 innings. And in the tournament, right, for the extra inning for the tiebreaker, they do bases loaded, 1 out. And he goes out there 2 times and stuffs Chapin, gives up nothing, you know, shows feel for 3 pitches with a ton of command and competitiveness. But, you know, you got a freshman in that big situation, and he shows a slow heartbeat. Nothing got too big for him. The moment wasn't too big. So it was really fun to watch him, you know, play, compete, pitch, kind of do it all over the weekend. So Palmer's got himself a bright future over there for Dorman, Coach Jolly.
Yeah, no doubt. It was fun to watch him pitch. Remember him saying the kid's just got a slow heartbeat. Nothing kind of gets to him, which we saw obviously in that extra inning situation. We got a long list of topics here. We're gonna mix some things up since Mr. Smith, you know, vacation director's got to leave us a little early today. So we're gonna hop in right and early here.
HGTV.
If I get any more titles, y'all are gonna start paying me more.
Well, don't hold your breath on that one. So
Coach,
we're
got some Krispy Kreme donuts here if you want some here in Columbia. I mean, can we pay you off with donuts?
That's where the concession segment started, was the free Krispy Kreme donuts at Duncan Park. Don't get me started on them.
Hey, and that's where we're going right now. The infamous concession segment with Mr. Austin Smith.
I think we all get to play along this week because it was oh man,
Yeah.
It would be the lie of the century if anybody on this podcast tried to act like I was the only one who partook in the food at Blythewood. So yeah, and probably as far as best meal of the night down there, y'all didn't even take part. Y'all both left, but the chicken, macaroni and cheese, green beans. Oh my gosh. They said it came from some guy's restaurant that he's got attached to a gas station down there. Somebody a little more familiar with
those are the best ones.
What'd you say the name of it was, you know?
I don't know, but those are the best kind of restaurants, aren't they?
It was
hole in the walls.
They spoke highly of it. They said I normally don't like to eat meals out of a gas station if I don't have to. I mean, I'm not above it, but I will. But oh my gosh, that chicken down there, oh man, what a day. That's what got me through that last game. Besides wanting to take a nap after I ate it, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do down there. But yeah, it was a big, that place. I'd go back down there.
Hey, how about those empanadas, Coach? Oh, you didn't even have one, Coach.
Yeah, you missed the empanadas.
Oh, I mean, they were to die for.
You know, I took a little heat. I'll talk on my. I mean, I spent 2 days out at the Forest Acres Classic. You know, and I think for all 3 of us now, we've all hit this one. I think the concession segment is becoming the hit of the podcast. I had a gentleman come up and say he loves the show, but more importantly, he really loves the concession segment. Now, I took a little heat from Coach Stewart here. Over at Florida, they had a bunch of chicken balls floating around, and I didn't get any, and it had nothing to do. I saw it; it looked fantastic, but I do want to rave about their concession stand while we just spoke about over there at Blythewood. I mean, it was they had great chicken sandwiches, they had great boiled peanuts, they had great roasted peanuts. And more importantly, Coach, they had Coke products. They had Coke Zeros and Diet Cokes. I mean, that's both of those concession stands for me. That's what really pushes you over the top when you're floating around the Coke products. Diet Cola. When you get a good old DC floating around, I mean, it really pushes it apart. So I'm with you. I don't know if we're going to find two better places than we found this past week. That's just my call right now.
Yeah, that's not gonna. That's a tough one to beat, especially when you can just go in the hospitality suite at Blythewood and sit in there for 2 hours and just eat
for free.
Desserts
for free.
Desserts were fantastic. Hey, I think I took about 17 sodas.
Yeah, my son got warned for the amount of bubble gum he was taking from it, even though they were joking with him.
Your son ate 18 brownies and at least 12 pieces of bubble gum every time we went in there, which was at least 4 times. And
he wondered when we got home why his stomach hurt. But,
he had a stomach ache coming to him. A stomach ache, a headache, a lot of aches probably came from that. Speaking of the desserts, I'm glad you said that because I completely forgot about it. They had I don't know who made it. I wish I knew who made it. That way I could possibly get some kind of contract, get it mailed up here. It was a banana pudding with strawberries instead of bananas, which I'm a banana pudding guy. I don't like bananas, which is strange. But I do like a banana pudding, but I do love strawberries. So I guess we're going to say that this was a strawberry pudding. And when I tell you that was big. So whoever made that, huge shout out to you. And yeah, that was great.
You can DM us the recipe. Austin would gladly take it right now.
I don't know how, I don't cook, but just mail the whole thing up here.
Three meals a day, 3 separate meals a day over there in Blythewood. I mean, you had a breakfast, then you had a lunch setting, and then you had dinner. I mean, PBRSC took the scale took a little hit this week. Might have to go a few extra walks around the neighborhood.
Good job. Between
if you see us at a game this week, pacing around the backstop, we're not nervous. We're not. We're just trying to get a few extra steps in on the old Apple Watch here.
I don't think I've had a prepared meal for myself in like 7 days between Blythewood and Cajun Cafe. I mean, I think I might feel like I'm hibernating here.
I need to mix in a salad over here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't had those in a while. So this concession segment, always popular as ever, which takes us to our shout outs. First shout out. We love that all of you kind of talk to us at games and say, hey, I love the podcast. We love that. We appreciate you guys for tuning into the podcast to put up with these crazy people in this room right here. We really appreciate that. And all of the I'm losing my words here. But that's that. Blythewood and Flora. Special shout out to both of those locations, especially the moms working those, all that, the food deal, the hospitality suite, nicest people ever. Always trying to make me eat more stuff or make sure I'm good. You need a drink? I'm good right now. So best people running that tournament there. And then how about this one? I know you two are going to run off with this. How about the bathroom at Blythewood?
Coach, immediately started with me and my son walked in and my son goes, this bathroom smells good. we almost broke out a segment, the bathroom break. We didn't get there, but man, that might have been I just used one of the facilities in there, but it was the greatest smelling bathroom for a little while that I've ever been in. Sorry, Buc-ee's. I know Buc-ee's claims to have the best bathrooms out there, but we're gonna go with their smell for Blackfoot's bathrooms.
I've never smelled a bathroom like that when you walk in. It's amazing.
Whatever they got working in there, just go ahead and mail some of that up when you mail the strawberry. Don't put it in the pudding. Put it in a separate box.
Oh gosh. We got two more shout outs here. Shout out to our graphic intern Blake Lauria for producing all these great graphics you see out on our social media content. Also, I'm gonna give a shout out to Hillcrest Baseball. We talked about how good Somerville social media was. I think Hillcrest is a really close number 2. Always tagging us and stuff if they see a play of the week, which we may get to later. And just tagging us in various things, and the graphics they produce are great. So special shout out to those guys. I know they're having a pretty good season so far.
You didn't know this when you added this onto the table of contents for this week, but I do personally know the guy that runs the Hillcrest social media page. You didn't tell me this was coming, or I would have done it. I would have tried to put a plug in, see if I could get him as a guest of the show, maybe one day down the road. But yeah, I did notice that their social media, Facebook, Twitter page, everybody can have a Twitter page. It's not just us. It had really taken off, and so I was at a game there. I think it was last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago, and I was down there on the field after the game talking to former assistant coach of mine's son who played at Hillcrest. He runs the page for him. He was in the dugout, and I was like, well, he's not coaching. He's wearing khaki pants. What's he doing? Come to find out, he's running the Twitter page.
He's running the Twitter page.
Yeah, big shout out. I don't know if he has any assistance from anybody else, but shout out to Bradley Reed running a mean Twitter page up there for the Rams. So,
hey, and shout out for like Drew said, right? The sending us the info. We need the help, right? We can't be everywhere. We need the info on these players, on who's doing what and who's doing great things, and we also get that these coaches are swamped. They also got to teach the youth of America outside of coaching them. So there's sometimes you also need somebody else to fire off some stats at us. So we appreciate it. He was on top of it and sent us some info, and boom, here we go.
Now we'll be able to get
that stuff out there.
There's a sticker on it.
Big time.
Stickers.
Where we at on that?
PPR might be a calling.
He's got a shot.
Hey, so last week I went to a game before the tournament started. It was Tuesday night. Guys, you know what? It's time. It's time. It's time to give credit where credit is due. And the Blue Ridge Tigers seem to just be plugging along. I think they're at a 14-game win streak around that. They took on Chapman Tuesday night in a big region game with their ace on the mound and AJ Camerata. And what did he do again? He racked up 13 strikeouts and looked unhittable yet again. Got into some trouble, but he handled it really well. And you can see all of this in the Scout blog. Make sure you have a subscription to it. But it's time to give credit to Blue Ridge. They ended up sweeping Chapman, who at that time was ranked in the top 10 of the Power 25. So Blue Ridge is on a roll here, and if I remember correctly, I think 2 people in this room picked them to win the upper state championship. So I think we were already showing them some love there. Some guy in this room didn't take them, but
they don't call them the Blue Ridge Fighting Tigers for nothing.
That's a valid point. I mean, hey, you know what? And they're only going to get better
when Tompkins gets back.
When Tompkins gets back, he's supposed to be back for the playoffs, possibly. Is the rumor on the street on the mound? He's back playing third, right? Back in the infield, but I mean, watch out now. I mean, obviously, I know you got on here about Cade Norton, but we've we've got a chance to see him a lot, and he keeps wearing it out. What's he up to, 6 home runs or something like that
6
right
or
now around
7
there?
home
So,
runs. It's
I mean,
absurd.
Blue Ridge. I mean, watch out. I mean, I don't know if I want to be playing them. I don't want to be playing them anyway. But not. I mean, you get another arm, another ace back, ace 1A and 1B coming back.
You have
Giddy
Tompkins
up.
in there with Camarota. That dude's walking punch out right now. And then you got, like you said, Cade Norton over here hitting a jack every other day. So, hey, tough.
Hey. So that
Maybe we'll slide them into the Power 25. So I don't know. We'll see what
Uh-oh.
happens with that. I
Here
know
we go.
they're catching a little flack about not having them high enough, but it's we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But hey, that hops us right into it. We're going to talk about the top 10 just a quick second here. As you'll see this release today as well. Top 10 of the Power 25. It's some big changes here. As we were able to see most of these teams in action over the past week. We got a new number 1, but we'll do that at the end. Number 10, moving up from number 11, is South Florence, coach, at 16-4. Only games they really lost to would be North Myrtle, who we'll get to here in a second. Coming in at number 9, up from number 23. That's a big jump, coach. They got a huge sweep over the Greenville Red Raiders. They seem to just be getting it done, and that is Greenwood at number 9. Coming in at their record is 15-4. Coming in at number 8, here they are. Here's the love. Up from 18 are the Blue Ridge Tigers at 15-2. Only 2 losses on the year with a Riverside, a really good team. But hey, when you sweep Chapman in the way that they swept Chapman, I think they beat them 10-3 Friday, something like that. But they make a huge jump 10 spots up here, and they look to have a hot run into the playoffs here soon too. Number 7 up from number 13, North Myrtle Beach, another team that just keeps winning. They're 16-4. They were able to sweep South Florence earlier in the year. Numbers coming in at number 6 is the Somerville Green Wave at 12-6. It had a little rough last week, but we know the team is uber talented as well, and will have a chance to make a deep run into the playoffs. Coming in at number 5, staying at number 5, is Catawba Ridge at 16-4. Won the series against Indiana last week. We know they've got 3 really good arms, so they're always a threat in the playoffs. You don't want to see 3 88+ arms, coach. Not in the playoffs.
Negative.
It's going to be tough there. Coming in at number 4, they did drop, and that is the Berkeley Stags at 17-3. I need some tissues, coach.
I'm not going to say who, but when I said they finally have to drop, somebody said to me, I might quit. So I'm not going to say any names. I said, look, I'm right there with you. Had a tough week. Sometimes you just got to drop. It's okay. Doesn't mean they're not good, but somebody threatened to quit when we said we had to drop them in the rankings.
Hey, but the teams they lost to are above them, so that's okay. They don't have any bad losses. Let's put it that way.
No.
Which is okay, but they're going to have to face these teams that are one of these teams that they lost to in the 5A playoffs. Coming in at number 3, yeah. This is where we get a little fishy right here, coach. 1, 2, 3, different order here. We'll catch some flack for this. Coming in at number 3, down from number 1, is the Oceanside Land Sharks at 19-6. With losses to Lexington and Chapman Chapin in the previous week. They're sitting at 19-6. Now we know they do have some big wins, but at this point in the season, if you want to be at the top of the Power 25, remember this is regardless of classification. Doesn't matter who you play; it matters that you win. So number 1, you gotta win it. Coming in at number 2, they shot up 5 spots after a big weekend jump at the Diamond Invitational, and that is Lexington winning the Diamond Invitational. Not only did they win it, they beat Blythewood, they beat Oceanside, they beat Berkeley. That's 3 huge wins right there. So that'll put you up to number 2. They're at 22-4. Absurd. 2 of those losses came from the number 1 team in the Power 25, the River Bluff Gators, at 16-4. Another big week for them as they won the Forest Acres Classic, able to beat some really good teams as well. So they're up from number 3, and they are the new number 1 team of the Power 25. There's your top 10, Coach. The rest will come out later, but a lot of change in the top 10.
A lot of change, which also will mean there's a lot of change in our regional rankings that are going to be released this week, and also possibly international rankings as well. So a lot of going on, right? When you especially when you throw that's the one really neat thing, good thing around down here in South Carolina, right? Is these spring break tournaments. After we play, a lot of schools, a lot of states have the spring break tournaments. We have the big time preseason tournaments. And then we also, some teams kind of get in their region and, beat up on some foes that are a little bit, lesser talented than them. But then they get back into these big time spring break tournaments, and you can kind of figure some stuff out, So a lot of action going in here in this last couple of weeks of region play. I know obviously Lexington, 22-4 already. They got one game this upcoming week, and it's out of area. They're playing a team out of Charlotte, one game before they get one last week of region play. So we're winding down here. So a lot of things changed, a lot of things flipping around here. So it's going to be fun to see how it shakes out here.
Yeah, no doubt. And we'll have this go back out right before the playoffs kick off throughout the state of South Carolina. So you'll have that. So we only got 2 more rankings left, Coach. One right before the playoffs, and then the final rankings.
Finals.
So, hey,
the finale.
Number 1, we're going to find out if number 1 stays number 1. Who knows?
I think we'll finally get it right after it's all said and done.
Yes.
Not really, because then somebody's going to go, we're number 1 because we won the state championship. So, well, it's always fun to have a little banter.
The top 4 to 5 teams will be right. How about that? They all won state championship.
Yes.
We'll leave it like that. We'll put them all number 1, tied for first place.
just make people happy. You know what I mean? Just give them what they want.
Give the people what they want. So we'll talk about 3 big games coming up this week. Number 1, Lugoff, Elgin, and AC Florida in a region series. We know Lugoff's got some good arms. We know Florida's got some good arms. So that's going to be a fun one. Rivalry.
Yeah. Hey, plus check out this stat real quick on Florida. And I know Lugoff's rolling. I just got this so I can say it. Florida started off 3-6. They've been 10-1 since. So they're rolling. They're playing hot right now. So we'll see if they can keep that thing going on this back end into a big region series.
The Fighting Hallets, as we like to call it. Fighting Hallets. So that's a big region series with some Power 25 implications, as you'll probably see both teams in the Power 25. Another big one with the Ashley Ridge and Somerville. We know that Monday night game's going to be good with Chase Stryker on the mound against that Somerville lineup. But overall, it's going to be a great region series. Ashley Ridge went and won the hit tournament, which was a big win for them. I believe Chase Stryker played a decent out-of-state team. And Coach, if I remember correctly, I think he had it was 18 Ks, Coach. I mean,
somewhere around there.
It's
hard to do.
We've got to get 3 more though. I mean, why can't we just get 21? I mean, it's just
finish it out. I mean, it's a bad performance for him. I mean, it's a subpar performance. Hey, I mean, how about their number 2 starter? I mean, I feel like he throws a no-hitter every week.
Yeah.
McLaughlin down there. I mean, it's every. I think he gave up 3 hits this last week, but I mean, they got their first 2 guys that don't give up many hits.
Yeah.
It's impressive. So that's going to be a big one down there. Ashley, I mean, heck, Somerville, I feel like they're in a game of the week every time. That kind of shows you the type of talent they have, but also the region they play in is very talented. So it's, whoever's going to come out of that region, have a feeling it's going to be pretty. They're going to be prepared as anyone to get through the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. And the third game of the week is West Florence and South Florence, a big rivalry game there. We know South Florence has Aiden Palmer on the mound, and then West Florence with Peyton Rogers, who was up apparently 89, not confirmed by us, but we know that's going to be two arms going at it against each other, and will be a great game as well. No, Rogers is coming off of some arm issues last year. Good to see him back and throwing well. But Palmer racking up Ks as usual. So he'll be a fun one to watch, especially with all the added stuff to it with being a rivalry game. So top game graphic will come out too. There's going to be 8 of those, but we're only talking about 3. So pay attention to that as well. Some other big news here. This is kind of a Stewie Media decision. Player interviews are going to start to commence here soon, a part of the Palmetto Dugout show. So we'll be reaching out to some guys to get them on and kind of talk to them about them being a player, about their high school, about their future, things like that. I think we already have one lined up here soon. So pay attention to that. But there are also going to be some interviews from the PBR Shipyard preseason tournament that are out on YouTube here soon. Make sure you like those and subscribe to that channel so you can see when they come out. I think we're at 115 subscribers, Coach. We need to get it up to 200. Might be a prize to come out.
Hey, that's what I was going to say. How about the number 200? Get some PBR South Carolina swag. How about we for 200 subscriber?
How about 200 subscriber gets some gear.
Well, let's see if we can do it in the next week. What are the chances that can happen?
All right, so it's Sunday. So by next Sunday, the 200 subscriber will get some gear.
The 23rd.
The 23rd. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We got about 85 more to go, but I know there's 85 more people watching this because I think we get way more than 200 views on a video. So make sure you subscribe so you can get that gear. And now to our big 2 segments of the podcast, and that is Bomb Squad of the Week. And getting the Bomb Squad of the Week is, hold on, Coach. Bomb Squad of the Week goes to 2023. We'll just call him a utility player at this point, except catcher. And that is Kevin Samansky at Dutch Fork. He had not 1, 2 home runs in the Forest Acres Classic, and PBR was obviously able to catch one of them. So
I was a little upset when I missed the first one. I text you and you said some explicit language when I said I missed his home run because I was getting a tweet out, but yet guy came up his next at bat, got that one on there. So we didn't miss it.
I think he's also in a scout blog you wrote about, Coach. So make sure
that's correct.
Make sure you have a subscription. Go check that out. But Bomb Squad of the Week goes to Kevin Samansky, 2023 Dutch Fork High School, also committed, going to the College of Charleston. Play of the week. We saw some plays that were really good throughout our tournaments, but of course, our video camera only is filming the hitter, not the field. So we got tagged in a play, who we shouted out earlier. That is Hillcrest. Hillcrest had a walk-off hit versus J.L. Mann, and it was from 2024 Tyson Moses. So play of the week is going to go to Tyson Moses of Hillcrest High School on his walk-off win versus J.L. Mann, and Hillcrest winning that series, which that was a big game for them winning that series. So play of the week goes to him. Thank you, Hillcrest High School, for tagging us in that and even putting this could be play of the week. And it is play of the week, as you see here. So long podcast. I think that about does us, Coach, unless you got anything.
No, just going to kind of piggyback off what we talked about a little bit earlier with the new recruiting rules, right? We're going to have a lot more out on this on the main website with a lot of these rule changes, how it's going to affect all these players, talking to, across the country, not just me, but just, other PBR guys talking to other coaches around, the one good thing that I think, from our standpoint is a lot of these schools are going to start to now use us, right, as a big follow, for some of these younger guys coming through, especially as this, when they're coming to events, when we're out of games, tracking guys, the junior future games, be finding ways to use us and use our stuff as a lot more follow list. So it's I really, not just a PBR South Carolina deal, but across the country, it's where our events are going to become more important for these younger guys coming through, because now these coaches can track all their their data, can track all their their stats, how they're doing everything, and be able to get, so when that time comes for them to go out and watch them and put those offers out there, they're going to have years of data and information under their belt.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was able to talk to Coach Schnabel and Coach Backett yesterday about that kind of after the game, and they had said that they'd be reaching out to us a lot more due to that rule change, because they're not able to do it. They're not able to see those guys, whereas we're out on the road all the time. And they said that right after they got some food from the Cajun Cafe that was sponsored from PBR South Carolina. So shout out to the Cajun Cafe for putting that PBR South Carolina on the top of that. Fantastic food, Coach. It was soul food: pork chops, green beans, mac and cheese, and the green beans and mac and cheese had bacon in them. I mean, what could be better, right? What could be better?
You can't go wrong when you have bacon in anything.
So this PBR guy is about to be off and running to the Cajun Cafe here soon. Just to get some more food and watch some good baseball. Also, one more shout out here to the right fielder at Notre Dame. His name's Brooks. I don't know. Brooks Coatsy might be his name. He's not going to watch this, but if he does, he'll know. He recognized I had a PBR hoodie on Friday night, and he recognized it, Coach. And he got the PBR is there a response. So shout out to
PBRs everywhere.
PBRs everywhere. So shout out to him for recognizing that PBR hoodie, even though we were about 30 yards away from each other. So hey, that's going to wrap us up for episode 36 of the Palmetto Dugout Show. From all of us here at PBR South Carolina, have a great week.